In 1999, Europe made one of the biggest economic bets in history. 20 countries, one currency, no going back. Politicians said it would bring peace, prosperity, and power. And for a while, it looked like they were right. But economists? They were terrified, because they saw what politicians didn't want to see. The euro was not just a financial experiment. It was a political dream built on a broken foundation. And today, we're going to show you exactly why. Here's the thing, the United States also has one currency for very different states. Texas and New York are completely different economies. So why does it work there, but not in Europe? 3 reasons. First, labor mobility. In the US, if your state has no jobs, you pack your bags and move. Americans do it all the time. But in Europe, language barriers, cultural differences, different laws. Moving from Greece to Germany isn't like moving from Texas to New York. It's a completely different life. Second, fiscal transfers. When Florida gets hit by a hurricane, Washington sends billions in aid. Automatically, no debate, no politics, just money flowing where it's needed. In Europe, nothing like that exists. Germany doesn't automatically send billions to Greece when Greece is in crisis. There's no mechanism, no automatic safety net. Third, one interest rate for completely different economies. The European Central Bank sets one interest rate for everyone. But what's good for Germany is often terrible for Greece. One size fits all? In economics, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Back in 1961, an economist named Robert Mundell created something called the optimum currency area. It basically said, for a single currency to work, you need these 3 things. Labor mobility, fiscal transfers, synchronized economies. Europe had none of them, and economists said so, loudly, but politicians didn't care. The euro was a political project first, an economic project second. French and German leaders wanted to tie Europe together so tightly that war would become impossible. The economy? They'd figure it out later. And for the first few years, it actually looked fine. Southern European countries like Greece, Spain, and Portugal suddenly had access to cheap loans. Money poured in, construction boomed, everyone was spending, nobody was asking questions. Until 2008, when the global financial crisis hit, the cracks in the euro became canyons. Greece revealed it had been hiding its real debt levels for years. Suddenly, investors panicked. Interest rates for Southern European countries skyrocketed. And here's the key problem, they couldn't devalue their currency. Because they didn't have one. This is crucial. When a country has its own currency and hits a crisis, it can devalue. Cheaper currency means cheaper exports, more tourists, more investment, recovery begins. But Greece, trapped in the euro, it couldn't do any of that. The only option was austerity, brutal spending cuts, which destroyed the economy even further. Here's the dirty secret of the euro. It doesn't work the same for everyone. Germany, with its strong manufacturing base and disciplined fiscal policy, absolutely thrives with a weak euro. Their exports become cheaper. They sell more to the world. Meanwhile, Southern European countries are stuck with a currency that's too strong for their weaker economies. In 2013, youth unemployment in Spain hit 55%. In Germany, it was 8%. Same currency, same interest rate, completely different realities. This isn't a coincidence. This is the system working exactly as its critics predicted. So was the euro a mistake? That depends on who you ask. For Germany and the Netherlands? Probably the best financial decision ever made. For Greece and Italy? The evidence suggests it was a trap they couldn't escape. The problem was never the idea of European unity. The problem was building a currency union without building the institutions that make it work. The euro is still here, still alive, still being used by 350 million people. But the fundamental flaws? They were never fixed. And until they are, the question isn't whether the next crisis will come. It's when. If you want to know what that next crisis might look like, we cover that in our next video. If this video made you think differently about the euro, subscribe.